Good day and welcome to SCO BRICS Insight, where we bring you the latest news, information and analysis on what's really going on in the world of the BRICS. Now, it's been reported that the UK government has been accused of helping Russia pay for its war on Ukraine by continuing to import record amounts of refined oil from countries that are processing Russian fossil fuels. Now, according to UK government data, which has been analysed by the environmental news site Desmog, shows that the imports of refined oil from India, China and Turkey amounted to 2.2 billion in 2023. I mean, this is the same amount as there was a previous record in 2022, and it was up from 432 million in 2021. Now, Russia is the largest crude oil supplier to India and China, while Turkey has become one of the biggest importers of Russian oil since Russia launched its military operation in Ukraine in February 2022. Now, in response to this, the UK, US, EU, G7 allies of the Ukraine pledged to divest themselves from the purchase of Russian oil and gas. Now, the UK officially banned the import of Russian oil products on the 5th of December 2022. However, a loophole in the legislation has allowed Russian oil to continue to flow in vast amounts into the UK. Now, the trade ban on Russian oil products has been circumvented by allowing the import of oil products that have been refined in another country. I mean, this allows Russia to sell oil to whomever it likes, and those countries process it before exporting it to the UK. Now, Global Witness, the sort of charity, NGO, whatever, has called this a laundering process that makes a mockery of the so-called ban. Well, I suppose it does. Now, the value of the refined oil exported from India to the UK has risen significantly since the ban on Russia's oil took place in 2022. I mean, for example, in 2021, the UK imported 402.2 million worth of refined oil from India, which rose to 1.82 billion in 2022 and was 1.5 billion in 2023. Now, imports of refined oil from China have also increased significantly since 2021. In 2022, the value was 395 million, and that was up from 30.2 million in 2021. Now, in 2023, these value of imports from China was 663.9 million, and that's obviously not going to decrease, but only increase. Now, the value of refined oil imports from Turkey has gone from 1.8 million, which is nothing, to 60.3 million in 2023. Now, Leila Stanley, who's a senior investigator at Global Witness, commented, "Millions of barrels of fuel made from Russian oil continue to be imported into the UK. Last year alone, the profit on this trade was worth over 100 million to the Russian government. It's clear that until the government closed this loophole, the West is helping Russia pay for its war in Ukraine," she says. "The good news is we can fix this." He said, "The UK should act now to ban the import of fuels made from Russian oil and demonstrate its support for the Ukraine as genuine." Now, I do wish her good luck with trying to replace fuel supplies from China, India and Turkey, or even the Middle East, etc. Because of global demand, limited supplies are available, and Russia being one of the world's largest suppliers of fossil fuels to the market, there's no actually alternatives to buying fuel from countries that are supplied by Russia. There's just not enough oil to go around, darling, so suck it up. Anyway, Global Witness has estimated that throughout 2023, approximately 5.2 million barrels of refined petroleum products produced from Russian crude oil were imported into the UK, with jet fuel accounting for the majority of the imports, some 4.26 million barrels. And it's been estimated that Russian-linked airline fuel has been used in 1 in 20 flights from the UK. Now, UK government records show that all direct imports from Russia fell from 1.5 billion in the first quarter of 2022 to zero the year after. Now, this has led to a surge in fossil fuel imports from various producers. Now, the UK spent 19.3 billion on oil and gas imports from a variety of countries, including Algeria, Bahrain, Kuwait, Libya, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates in the year to March 2023. And that represented a 60% increase on the previous year. And it's not just the UK. I mean, the EU has been procuring fossil fuels from petrostates. The UK and the EU have been purchasing refined oil through the intermediaries in India, China and Turkey. It's just something they can't avoid. Now, Global Witness has revealed that the EU imported 130 million barrels of fuel from refineries processing Russian crude since 2023. Now, the campaign group estimates that these purchases would have contributed just over 1.1 billion euros to the Russian government's tax revenues. Well, given the size of its tax revenues and oil, it's not actually a huge amount, so obviously they're getting their money from elsewhere. Now, Russia has become China's largest crude oil supplier, with volumes increasing by 24% in 2023. And China and India's gas purchases have obviously helped the Russian economy, which continues to, I must say, show robust growth, unlike those who've sanctioned it. Now, India's been pretty straightforward about its purchases of Russian oil and why it does it. I mean, in November, India's Foreign Minister, Subramanian Yansha, stated the country should be commended for its role in stabilizing the oil market by purchasing and selling Russian oil. He says, as a result, we have been able to effectively manage global inflation. People should be expressing their gratitude to us, he said. Now, Russia is India's leading oil supplier. That's mainly because India has a huge refining capacity and it doesn't produce enough oil to take care of it. So it's a net exporter, importer of crude, exporter of diesel and petrol. I mean, the country imports about 1.76 million barrels per day of Russian oil, and that's more than double what it did previously, because it used to get its stuff from Saudi Arabia, but the price advantage of Russian oil is attractive. Turkey has been accused of disguising Russian oil and exporting it to Europe, and US senators have even warned that the Dortoloy plan may have ended up supplying US Navy warships with the Russian fuel. So even the Navy is getting Russian fuel, the US Navy. Now, Turkey's become the largest recipient after China and India of Russian crude. That's mainly because they're neighbours, and it's actually quite just across the Black Sea, you could say. And there's also pipelines through the Sian in Russia from Novosibirsk. So there's plenty of ways to do it. Right? So, I mean, according to the government, lots of measures are being taken, but they're not really going to be able to do anything. I mean, the ban on Russian oil and oil products is just playing whack-a-mole. They're never actually going to be able to do anything. I mean, asking for proof that goods are not of Russian origin is not actually going to work, because you can't actually do a fingerprint of the oil. So, it's either suck it up and ignore it or put it together. I mean, according to the UK government, since the ban came into effect, there's been no import of Russian oil or oil products. Now, it's all in the phrasing, according to the UK government. Oil that goes to India, China or Turkey and refined is no longer Russian but Indian, and paying a higher price for it is worth it so we can virtue signal about how we're sticking it to Vladimir Putin. Anyway, thanks for watching. Do like and subscribe and visit the website SCO-BRICSinsight.com for lots of articles about the BRICS and everything else that's going on. Thank you, take care, and I'll see you all again soon.